Two BJP leaders' comments on Prophet Muhammad have unleashed a backlash in Islamic nations, with Qatar, Kuwait and now Iran summoning the Indian envoy. On social media, there have been calls to ban Indian products. Qatar told India envoy Deepak Mittal that it was expecting a public apology and an immediate condemnation of these remarks from the government of India. Kuwait, meanwhile, has demanded a public apology for these hostile statements, the continuation of which would constitute a deterrent measure or punishment to increase extremism and hatred and undermine the elements of moderation. Qatar's condemnation comes amid the visit of Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu who is on an official visit to Qatar at the moment. We spoke to my colleague Vishnu for more details on this. Listen in.
That's right. Well, the latest nation to join several Middle Eastern nations in protesting against the remarks made by BJP spokespersons is Iran. Now, Iran's foreign minister is supposed to be here in India next week, a very important visit, the first visit to India of this particular foreign minister, their Minister of Foreign Affairs. So the Indian ambassador was called in Tehran to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the government of Iran, over what state media called an insult against the Prophet of Islam in an Indian TV show. The Iranian Foreign Ministry's Director General for South Asia addressed the Indian ambassador and expressed, and I quote, expressed regret and said an insult against the Prophet of Islam is unacceptable. This is what the Indian envoy in fact said. He expressed regret and said that any insult against the Prophet of Islam is unacceptable and that this doesn't reflect the position of the Indian government, which has shown utmost respect for all religions. I think it's important to note that the government of India's position has been fairly consistent. Remember, it was the government of Qatar, and that's where the Vice President of India is presently visiting on an official tour, followed by Kuwait and now Iran, three nations, very strong partners of India, each one of them in condemning the remarks made by the BJP spokespersons on the Prophet Muhammad. But what is the background to the case? What action has the BJP taken through the day, including sacking these spokespersons? Let's take a look. Well, on a day of fast-moving political developments in a situation which is quickly getting out of hand because of international condemnation of remarks made by two ex-BJP spokespersons, the BJP acted with a fair amount of alacrity this morning. There was this press release where they said that the BJP strongly denounces insult of any religious personalities of any religion. They were referring to remarks made by two party spokespersons, one of whom in a political discussion on a TV network had made references to the Prophet Muhammad which were deemed to be extremely insulting. Insulting to who? Insulting in fact to a host of nations in the Middle East, specifically the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. This has been trending online for the last couple of days as well, and now the government of Qatar decided that they needed to perhaps take action, and along with the government of Kuwait they lodged their official complaint. But we'll come to that in a moment. After the issue of this press release, there was this letter, and this was also put out in public, right, very deliberately by the BJP. It was marked to Nupur Sharma saying, "Dear Madam, you have expressed views contrary to the party's position on various matters. It's a clear violation of Rule 10A of the Constitution of the BJP. I have been directed to convey to you that pending further inquiry, you are suspended from the party and from your responsibilities with immediate effect." But by this time, the situation was fast getting a touch out of control. Remember, the Vice President of India is in Qatar at this very moment. And while he was there, the Indian ambassador to Qatar was called into the Qatari Foreign Ministry and was issued a note, and then a press release was issued by the government of Qatar. This is that particular note. And in this note, they have said, the state of Qatar affirmed that insulting remarks would lead to incitement of religious hatred and offend more than 2 billion Muslims around the world, and indicate the clear ignorance of the pivotal role that Islam has played in the development of civilizations around the world, including in India. They demanded an immediate apology because these remarks had angered Muslims around the world. Now, the government of India in Doha, Qatar, almost instantly after this statement was issued a press release of their own. And in this, They said, and I quote, "The ambassador conveyed that the tweets do not in any manner reflect the views of the government of India. These are the views of fringe elements." So think about it. Two national spokespersons of the BJP sacked, and within a matter of few hours being referred to as fringe elements by the government of India, which was called in and told that the views expressed by these party spokespersons insulted more than 1 billion Muslims around the world. The government of India is saying that these are the views of fringe elements. What is at stake over here is much more than the remarks made by Nupur Sharma or any other BJP spokesperson. They go well beyond even the equations between members of our various communities in India. It actually impacts India's strategic relations with several countries in the Middle East and West Asia. This is a relationship which in the past has been particularly testy and difficult. But in the last decade, there has been a huge effort to try and fix that relationship. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates are key members of that strategic partnership. Do television news debates where party spokespersons spew venom, is that the way in which these relationships will be destroyed? That's a question many would want to know.